Hi, it's Andrea from WellAndrea, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about what contributes to real longevity, to aging well. And I am going to talk about some people I know. So this is not scientific. These are examples of people that I've known for many years, some of them for decades. But this is also sparked really by all the messages I keep seeing on social media and everywhere about all the things they're supposed to do, right? So we see various forms of the sit to rise test. We are constantly told the percentage of our body weight we're supposed to be able to deadlift, to farmer carry, to squat, to bench press, whatever it is. And there is some value to all of these things. Like, we do need a certain amount of mobility, which is really key to the sit and rise test, as well as strength, to live our life and to be independent and all that. But I do think that the focus right now is too much on these sometimes quite arbitrary metrics. And what I'm more worried about is that people take it to the extreme and really get injured. I personally know two people who were a little overzealous and injured themselves when they practiced the sit to rise test. And I just overheard a third person in my exercise class who, basically did some things that made her knee not feel very good. And it was related to the sit and rise test. And so I was just thinking back at the people I know that have aged very well and very strong. And I think, many of them just led overall quite active lives. The ones who really aged the best, and these are people who are in their late 70s and 80s, are people that also had some form of strength training, which unfortunately, wasn't all that common in past decades, especially for women. So, the people that had some sort of a strength component are definitely doing better. And when I got my certification for working with older people, exercise, in terms of exercise, so one of the things we learned is that usually at about 65, people really notice that they're aging if they are not active. And then active people really notice it starting at 75. And I believe that if we really strength train and work on mobility and so on, we can extend that period much longer. So that is definitely the truth. But the people I know that have aged well, they have not done extreme things. But what they have done is they have consistently moved and worked out and really had many other interests in their lives. And actually, those other interests oftentimes also put them in situations where they were moving a lot. So for example, I know some people who are, they really love to travel, and they, know that when they travel, they will encounter sort of steep hills and stairs, and they will have to lift things. And so the traveling puts them in these situations that's really motivated them to also work out. And also when they're traveling, which they do a lot of, they're always active, right? It's not a time where they will lose mobility and strength and so on. And I know people who have done this in many different ways. I know somebody who has been practicing yoga her entire life. She's very, very strong. And she has also many different interests. And again, I think it all is an interplay. It's not one thing. She's also very grateful. And she really does find joy in everything she does. And I just read a book called Joy Span that talks about the importance of joy as we are aging. I've also sort of seen the opposite. Unfortunately, I've seen people who have done actually way too much when it comes to movement and exercise and have not helped themselves. One of the people that comes to mind, he got married late in life. He became a father for the first time. I think he was 51. And he had always been a very active person, but he almost became obsessed. Or he became obsessed really with exercise and staying young and being just, as fast and mobile and everything as his much younger wife. And he was injured and then at one point very, very sick. And he did not listen to his body. He did not let his injuries heal. He actually got so sick and he didn't really go to the doctor because he was training for a race. I mean, he almost died. And sadly now at 60, he is not in great shape. I mean, many very sedentary 60-year-olds I know are doing actually sadly much better than him. And, the overdoing it did not allow him to be the fun older dad for his daughter, unfortunately. So I think it is really important to listen to our bodies. It is important to strengthen our bodies and to work out, but it's really an interplay of so many different things. And I think we need to get away from the messaging that, more is necessarily better. Have a great day. Keep moving. Keep listening to your body. Bye now.